Hi, I'm Scott Garriott, and I'm doing a video about some of the best and my favorite records I acquired in 2024. Got a bunch of kind of runners-up, I guess. I'm going to show those quick, and then I got a top 15. I don't know why it was top 15. Top 10 didn't seem like enough. Top 20 seemed like too much, so I did a top 15 of my favorites purchases of the year. Going to start off with some new records. I normally focus on like vintage records, vintage copies of older records. That's my main passion with collecting, but there's some new bands I like too, and I like to buy them on vinyl occasionally. So this is the Lemon Twigs, which was one of my 5 favorite albums of the year. Nice vintage album. They do a really good job of capturing the 60s sound with the Beatles, Beach Boys, Zombies kind of sound, with some really great songs on that one, and I like the Peppermint Candy vinyl too on that one. This is Father John Misty with Mahash Mashama. Haven't gotten into the whole album yet, but there's like 4 or 5 tracks I really love on this one, and I think the other ones will grow on me too. But it's a nice aqua vinyl on that one. And then this was, for a long time, this was my favorite album of the year. This is MGMT Loss of Life. Every track on this thing is fantastic. It's one of the most consistently good albums I've heard. It was my number 1 of the year until I got obsessed with the album Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee, which is only available on YouTube and Bandcamp, and I think their own site at the moment. But it's coming out on vinyl at the end of February, so I pre-ordered that. Looking forward to that. That album is just an incredible thing to get lost in. Recommended if you have the time for it. But Loss of Life by MGMT, it was one of my favorites of the year, second favorite of the year for sure. And then this is not a new album, but it was a newly released reissue. I wish it was an original, because then I would sell it and I would not have to pay rent for the next year. But this is Fraction Moonblood, which was put out by Noble Records and Riding Easy Records. I watch Noble Records channel a lot, and this is a really good album. Really awesome psych rock from the early 70s. The track Come Out of Her is like, I've been playing that on repeat. He does this amazing scream in the chorus. But just a fantastic album. The vocals took me like 1 or 2 listens to warm up to. They're a bit kind of bit much at first, but once you get used to them, you realize they're actually incredible. So yeah, Fraction Moonblood, give that a listen, and if you find it at a garage sale, you'll be pretty well off for the next couple months. It's a really rare original on that one. That's very valuable. All right, this is an interesting curiosity. I bought these records by Jac D Trun. He was a French musician from the 60s, and just really cool music that you never find these in America, or at least I've never found him. I had him on my wish list on Discogs for like a couple years, and there was like never any US copies for sale, and US copies of these popped up. They weren't in like perfect shape or anything, but they play well enough, and they're just so hard to find, and they so rarely come up that I just had to jump on those. Just really cool, fun rock. Not just rock, it's like kind of rock mixed with, I don't know, Tropicalia or something. I don't really know what genre it is, but there's some like kind of Rolling Stones style rock music, and just really cool music. Jac D Trun. So next up, I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan, and got a couple of good ones to add to my collection. This is a Japanese press of Live at Budokan. Not my favorite album, but I've kind of warmed up to it over the years. Really big, some say they're cheesy arrangements, and they're different for sure, but I was happy to pick that up. I got an original copy of Blood on the Tracks in the Shrink with the Hype sticker. I always like finding those. And this white label promo of the Basement tapes. There's the white label, and it's actually got the timing strip on the back, which is kind of abnormal, but I'm happy to find that one there. This one I've been looking for a while. Something Else by the Kinks. original copy in the shrink with the tricolor label. I actually have 2 copies because I bought one and then I found this other one that was like a really good deal. It was in the shrink, so I'm going to sell one of them. But this is Gene Clark. I bought this when I did a record show earlier in the year, and I had a bunch of money from that. So I never heard this album, but I like a lot of stuff in this wheelhouse, like Flying Burrito Brothers and the Byrds. So I picked it up, and it's not quite as good as those albums, but it's still got some really good stuff on it. Tried So Hard is really awesome. I got The Clash, Give 'Em Enough Rope, white label promo. Picked that up at my local record store. This one was a great find and also a great deal. I found this at a thrift store for a couple bucks. It's Gunfighter Ballads by Marty Robbins, and it's a original 6-eye stereo press of that. Sounds amazing. There's a couple of tracks that have like some popping on it, but overall it just sounds so good. It's got something written on there. I don't know. Unplayed Factory. Unplayed Factory Fresh. I don't know if that was something the label put on there or what, but it's interesting. This is not an original copy. It's the 70s reissue, I believe, of Out to Lunch by Eric Dolphy, one of my favorite jazz albums. I'd like to get an original someday, but you know, you gotta get lucky and have the money for it, which is not likely to happen, but could happen. This is not particularly special. It was just in really good condition. This copy of Santana Abraxas. Just a really nice copy of it. It was cheap. And then we got UK copy of Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. I have a US copy, which I showed in my last video with the hype sticker and the poster. This one, I might have the poster too, but yeah, it was a UK copy they had at my local record store, and I could not turn that down. Surrealistic Pillow. This is a really nice condition original mono of that, which you don't see too often, especially in good condition. But still got the shrink and the original, not hype sticker, but original price sticker on there, which is kind of cool. This was one of my more recent finds. So was that Jefferson Airplane. I found these both in the last week or two. This is a original copy of Funkadelic, and the album is America Eats Its Young. Always great to find original Funkadelic albums. Next 4 I'm going to show all at once. I've been getting into Sparks lately. I can't say I'm like a huge fan yet, although I just really like some of their songs, and when I see their records at stores, they kind of catch my eye. So I've been picking up some Sparks albums. There's Indiscreet. This is an original US copy of their debut, which I have not listened to, but I just picked up recently. This is Kimono My House, which I ordered online. Original copy in the shrink, and this was actually a record store day purchase. Got the blue vinyl. This is a new, not a vintage copy, but really like this album, Woofer in Tweeter's Clothing. It's probably my favorite of the albums I've listened to all the way through. All right, this next one is Rodriguez. It's not an original copy of Cold Fact. Those are really valuable, but I had a reissue of Cold Fact, which I'd sold because just every now and then I'll sell records just to clear things out. But I do like Rodriguez quite a bit. I was actually into him before he had his resurgence, where that documentary got made about him. I had a friend who was really into him and got me into them. But this is Rodriguez at his best, and I think this is an Australian copy. It's like a mix of his first 2 albums, like a compilation from the 80s, I believe. But I figured that was a good one to own, a nice consolation for not owning the original. This is pretty cool. It's Nina Simone, Baltimore. Picked that up. It's an original copy, and love the track Baltimore. The rest is pretty good, but the title track especially is good, and the sound quality on that one is really amazing. And then this will be the last one I show before I get into the top 15. This is an original copy of Black Sabbath, Master of Reality, with the shrink and the price tag from like Payless or something like that. How much was it back then? $4.67 back in the early 70s. But there's the green Warner Brothers label on that one. Picked that up at a record show. Same one where I got the Gene Clark. Picked that one up there. so now I will get into my top 15 acquisitions of the year for my vinyl records. Number 15, we got Surfer Rosa by the Pixies. Don't know if I can show that cover too close on YouTube, but that is a 1988 UK copy. Oddly enough, it's more affordable for the UK copies for some reason. The US copies were harder to, were just more expensive, so I went for that one, and it sounds great. Got the Violent Femmes. This is second year, 1984 copy of the Violent Femmes. I've been wanting that for a long time. Wanting an original for a long time, but it's definitely a classic. I love the Violent Femmes. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. This is Beck's One Foot in the Grave. And this is an original copy from 94 when it was released. I've had a couple copies of this before. I had like a 2000s repress that was in not so great shape, but it was playable but not amazing. Then I had the double disc version at one point with all the bonus tracks, but this is the version I really want to own, so was happy to pick that up. Really good condition. Love that album. Was hugely influential to me as far as my own music, and just a great mix of traditional folk music with kind of more postmodern, strange lyrics, which I'm really into. And number 12, we have Bright in the Corners, original copy from the 97 or whenever it was released. This is Pavement, Bright in the Corners, their fourth album. So I now have the first four now Pavement albums. Vintage copies of those. I think Wiley's Alley might be a early 2000s repress, but early copies of the first four. And I got to get Terror Twilight. This year will be one of my goal to get an original copy of Terror Twilight this year, which is their fifth album. All right, next we got King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King, which is one that pretty much everyone owns who collects records. Certainly everyone who collects old records owns this one. And what's cool about this one is it's a UK copy. It's not an original, but it's a, I think, 72 press, and it's in like perfect condition. Found this at House of Records in Eugene, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get that one. Next one is Big Star. I'm a big fan of the band Big Star. And I actually have original copies of the first two albums, which are both extremely rare, two of the most valuable in my collection. This is a strange curiosity. It's a 1987 UK copy of Sister Lovers, their third album. I also have a modern press of their third album, but different cover and different track listing. So what's interesting about this album, which used to kind of throw me off, but I kind of like it now, is that there's different versions of the album. So like some albums will have like different songs in different track order, which is kind of odd, but I kind of like it because it's almost like you can make your own copy of the album. You know, it's like the very fluid album, Big Star, Sister Lovers / Big Star Third. This is a nice, perfectly ugly cover. I really like it. It's ugly in a way that I really like. Star with some kind of mangled face on it with the desert in the background. I don't know, I just really enjoy it. All right, where are we at here? Number 9 is this original copy of B1000 by Guided by Voices. I saw that this record store I used to go to in Southern Oregon had it on Instagram. I don't live in Southern Oregon anymore, but he posted it on his Instagram. And then next time I visited down there, it was still there, so I picked it up. And number 8 is also Guided by Voices, Alien Lanes. This is my favorite Guided by Voices album that I've heard. This is also an original copy. Pretty much, tied with B1000, but this one in slightly better condition, and this is probably my favorite if I had to pick between the two, but they're both classic albums. All right, this one I listed this as my favorite album that I picked up last year for my last video. It's not my favorite album, it's just the best deal I got, but it's also one I'm really happy to own. It's this white label promo of Steely Dan's Countdown to Ecstasy. Found it in a bin in a record store I was visiting, and he just gave it to me for $10, which was pretty sweet for a white label promo of an early Steely Dan album like that. All right, and then getting into number 6 here, you got Townes Van Zandt. It's the original copy of Live at the Old Quarter with the tomato label there. It's probably my favorite Townes Van Zandt album. Is the one that got me into them. And always wanted to get an original copy. They're pretty spendy, but saw one in really good condition for good, not a cheap price, but relatively good for what it is price, and I had to pick it up. All right, number 5. This is my all-time favorite reggae album. It doesn't get enough credit. It should be on like people's top 100 lists and stuff like that. But this is Heart of the Congos by the Congos. Such a good album. It's like so catchy and so yet so like rich, and just great instrumentation. Amazing vibe that makes you feel like you're like right there in the jungles of Jamaica. Fisherman, Children Crying, Congo Man. So many great tracks on this one. If you like reggae at all, give that a listen. That's a, oh yeah, original. No, this is not an original Jamaican press. Those are really crazy expensive. This is a 1980 UK press, but it sounds really good. All right, are we at number 4? This is my favorite album of all time, and I picked up this promo copy of it. It's not a white label promo, but it does have it says promo on there. You can read it. Sorry about the glare on these, but this is The Hangman's Beautiful Daughter by the Incredible String Band. My favorite album of all time, and I never see these promo copies. If you go on Discogs, there's like hardly any sales history of it. Popped up on eBay and really good condition, so I picked that up. I have a UK copy too, which actually sounds a bit better than that copy. So I'm going to keep both, but I like the cover of that one better and the promo, so sometimes I like to keep multiple copies of certain albums. Alright, number 3. This is one I've wanted for a while. This is a Dores self-titled, and it's the Monarch pressing, which, if you don't know, sounds quite a bit better than the other pressings. I learned that from this video by the In-Groove, who does like shootouts of different pressings of records, and kind of turned me on to the fact that the Monarch pressings sound way better than the other pressings. And I found a copy earlier in the year that was in bad shape, but I could tell, even though it was in bad shape, I could tell it sounded amazing. And I was down in a record store in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and got this for like $50-$60, which for a Monarch pressing is a really good deal because they're becoming really kind of desired. And looked at the dead wax, and it was a Monarch, and I was like, yes, it was a. So I was really happy to score that one. It sounds so good. Certain records you play and you're just like, this is why I collect vinyl. This is why this makes me happy to be alive. This is amazing. That's one of those records. All right, number 2 is Os Mutantes, and this is not even an original. It's like an 86 or something like that, Brazilian press, but such a great, cool album. And supposedly these sound a lot better than the originals. The originals are really valuable and written rare, but these ones are significantly cheaper, although still not cheap, but much more affordable than the original, and they sound better, and this one does sound amazing. So been wanting to own that one for a long time. Happy to get that copy. And number 1, this is one I've just been wanting for a long time, an original copy of the Ramones self-titled album. I've owned it before. I've owned like 80s pressings and modern pressings, but the originals just like never pop up. I've never seen one in a store before. I ordered this on eBay. It just popped up for, a really good condition copy for less than usual, so I grabbed it and finally owned that original Ramones self-titled, one of my favorite albums of all time. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll try to keep making more vinyl videos and other videos. Getting used to talking on camera, doing this format and all that, but hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.